I should say, I'm looking at the original Coach Carter here on a Wednesday. I was feeling a little down, but now that I'm looking at the coach, I feel a little better. All the way from the hills and the mountains of Tennessee and how things there.
Amen.
By the way, I'm Charles Morse. This is Youth Central Sports, where we come to you every Wednesday. And we're talking with the original Coach Carter out of Tennessee. How's things there in Tennessee, Coach?
Hot, 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 hot. Having a little thunderstorms here, so we're getting a little bit of relief with some rain, but we tearing these 90s up. It's been 90, 90, 90, 90 plus. It makes me feel like Florida for a minute. But other than that, doing well.
Now, when does the temperature start to change? When do you start to notice the
September,
season start to change?
Late September, we
Like,
start seeing a little change in the weather. The evening starts getting cooler. The mornings are cooler. And you can see it just is. And by then we're playing football, so that Friday night game is a little windy. You get down on that field and it just starts feeling really good, and it slowly just drops from there.
well, normally we we go to the hills and the mountains of Tennessee, and then we kind of peek through the valleys and so in the hills and the mountains, and then we end up over on the west coast trying to find out where the strip is in Vegas. But
Or the beach.
now that he's on the East Coast, somewhere back in the woods with bugs and everything, and he looking all cool and calm. So you talking about the kids may have had to put him to sleep, but he's looking too cool and calm there. Look at him there, Coach. Look, check him out.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, you
I know
almost
where that
didn't
comes
get me.
from.
You know where that come from, man?
Yeah,
Grandkids.
I
And at any moment, my grandson might run in the door. So you might hear him coming. I'm gonna put him on if he comes on. I'm gonna put him on. But
absolutely put him right on.
yeah, let him share a few words. But yeah, this is not. I'm used to being 8 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. By then I'm trying to get my beauty rest.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah, keep forgetting you. Yeah, you got a drastic time change.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd go down with the sun when it's. I'm like the rooster. I come up when the sun come up, and I go down when the sun go down.
Yeah,
So
I hear you. I hear you on that one. I'm
unless
definitely
unless I'm creeping now, unless I'm creeping, I'm in the.
same schedule, just different activity.
That's all right.
so.
Yes, sir,
So how's
brother.
things there in North Carolina?
I guess they North Carolina. Brother, I'm not. Nothing nowhere is moving, so you really don't get to see things, and it's kind of new for you having to wear. You have to be very aware, now conscious of making sure you have your mask to go anywhere. So it's been slow motion because nothing's really open for you to enjoy. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm just sitting back. Uh, I guess every day getting older.
Now, now, how
I
long will
can't
you
relate to
be there?
I know that's right. I'm saying it for Charles to relate to.
that.
So, how long will you be there?
A few more days, and that may change. Mm.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm just ready
okay.
to say I'm whispering because I'm in, my daughter's house. So, they're going to sleep and everybody, she has to go to work tomorrow. So I'm used to sitting up in my house and,
Yeah,
and,
talk.
and doing what I want to do. Like I said, my grandson busted in twice already. So he's coming back. I know he's coming back. He's going to tell me
He
something. He
reminding
got
you
something to tell me.
that's he can remind you that's my room.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's his really first day he wanted to fight me. So,
Yeah. Guys,
mhm.
have you guys been following a couple of things that I wanted to ask you? Have you guys been following what's been going on with college football? Because there's been all these different conversation about all the different conferences. So I think what is being shown is that there's no one body that's on that controls all of college football, because all the different conferences seems to be on their own agenda, making their own decisions, which is, I guess, part of it. So I guess nobody really knows. And then even with the different conferences, I think they're trying to put together and piece together something to have some type of season along with revenue. Have you guys heard about anything what may be going on with college football?
I looked a little
Well,
bit today. I don't know. Coach is saying he must have some serious notes, but I know I saw that.
no.
I know the ACC and the SEC said they're going to go forward with particular football. Nothing's changed, so let me know. Let me not say that they said they're going ahead, but as of today, they're still looking to go forward. You know what's really interesting? What I saw is a few high level players from Ohio State and a few places like Michigan are looking to transfer out into schools that are playing because they're saying that it's going to jeopardize their draft status. And so I think that's the key. You know, the key is, and Coach might elaborate a little bit more on some subjects, but or some information. But I think that's going to be key. And you know, for high school, it's a little different because you get a chance to go forward and prove yourself at the next level. But for some of these college guys, understanding that uh, what's the draft going to go up to now? Maybe like 400 when the new CBA. What they've done is they've included two more draft spots on a team going forward in the NFL. I mean, so uh, and three more. What's that called? Practice squad roster. So it moves up the roster. So that gives about 100 more individuals an opportunity to play at the professional level. So some of these guys who may have had good seasons but are looking for great senior seasons said, "I just got to play."
Yeah, with the with some of the postseason situations not taking place, and there's no foreseeable future that may happen. Like the ACC is saying that the ACC will continue to make decisions based on medical advice, inclusive of medical advisory groups. In essence, they're continuing to prepare to play. I do think the caveat would be if their areas or some of their players are affected directly, that might change what they want to do. But right now, they're planning to do that. They're putting all the particular safeguards in. And but one of their last statements, they said that we understand the need to stay flexible and be prepared to adjust medical information in the landscape of services. So they're maintaining the effort that we're going to play. Now, who they're going to play is going to be a challenge. I think they're looking at conference games maybe only to limit travel, to try to limit the opportunity of somebody to be exposed. So it's a difficult thing to say the least. And I think the NCAA may be very similar to what you're facing in this country. There's no definitive statement. We're leaving it up to individuals to kind of make decisions based on what's going on in their areas, which kind of makes sense to some degree. I think you've got to have a standard protocol, but then if you're not having, let's say, a spike in your area, that's something to consider. But I would say this: football is a contact sport. And you're breathing on each other, whether you want to or not. You can't wear a
Mm-hmm.
mask. Got to make contact. I'm watching our football team right now. We're waiting for the word to. They're doing what they call uh, bumping. They're not actually tackling. I mean, they haven't actually they got the shoulder pads in, but no they're not geared out and they're not doing scrimmaging, but they're doing a little bump, what they call a 3 second bump, just to kind of simulate being in play. We're waiting for the word that they can go ahead and get it done because they're scheduled to play in 2 weeks. So, and I also think in the back of everybody's mind is there's going to be a spike. Just how bad will it be? How quickly can they resolve it? And how many people will be affected? That's both at the high school and the collegiate level. Because you got more kids at the collegiate level. You got a ton of kids out there on that squad. Not to mention all the staff and coaches. It's a rippling effect. But then the other side of that coin, is the revenue side. These people are trying to stay in business, well, and that's a difficult balance. That's a very, very difficult balance right now. We're seeing that going on in the country as a whole. But when it gets down to these kids, and by interesting conversation by Bob Costa, he seems to be pro college in the sense that he really thinks these kids should be being paid. He think they're being used. He made a statement the other day that given the pandemic situations and the health concerns, you're wanting these kids to go out and play. And he said, now, are we doing that because we love the sport? Or are we doing that particularly in football because it's your largest revenue generator? And I'm a little bit surprised to hear his position, although he's kind of been there for a while. Um, because I've heard his make other comments about that, and so that's something to think about because that's in most schools that's where they get the most of their money. So again, a very tough situation to be in. I'd hate to have to be that person balancing that decision. So, and I think what's going to happen is everybody's going to try to make the best decision they can. Some have already decided we're not having any fall sports, like they're canceling football, basketball, everything till next spring. In some cases, some just say they're wiping out this year. We'll address it later. Some say drastic. Some say jump too early. I would say bottom line, you can never be too cautious. Now, however that plays out, I don't think you can be too cautious.
Right.
Hmm.
It's going to be
Mhm.
interesting to see how this is going to pan out.
Well, it is, and think of it from a basketball perspective. And I'm looking at it from my perspective as a basketball guy, coach, if you will. And I'm looking at this just at our high school level. One of the things that I was talking with the football coach the other day. For our existence, they need to play because if they don't play, there's no way we're going to play. So one side of me is tugging for them to get started, get the season going. Let's kind of see how it plays. The other side of me is I'm very concerned health wise. Well, that's what you're seeing at the collegiate level. These college, I guarantee you, if the kids are not coming to school, they're learning from remote, which that sounds like that's what most are going to do, or up to that November time period, and then they're going to send them home from there. Okay, so one of the considerations is playing with no people in the stands, just so we can get these guys on the field. So my heart is tugged from let's play, but on the other side of it is let's be safe about it. And I wonder in football, and is there a safe way to play this? I don't know. I mean, you got to make contact. I mean, it's a contact sport. So how do you do it? So it's a tough decision.
Well,
It's a tough decision.
that was one of the things that they were saying was that I heard sports announcers, and I think we had talked about it. I'm not sure. I don't know if we had been talking about it over the phone or we had talked about it on the show, but they were talking about that the NBA had figured it out along with possibly, I think, soccer, but baseball had not figured it out because what the NBA did as far as the bubble, and
Can't put those guys in. Yeah, you can't put football and baseball in a bubble.
right,
You
right,
you can
right.
you can you can limit travel though.
Right,
Uh,
and that was their point was that the NBA came together and figured it out that they can do it like this, where Major League Baseball and
and the
football
WNBA,
can't do what
soccer,
basketball
no,
have, have,
no.
have tried to create, which is going to be a bigger problem for them more so than it is for the NBA.
Well, yeah, that is so true. I mean, and the NBA has done they've set a great precedent. Second week, second series of testing, and nobody's testing positive. They had a couple of early, before they actually got started, they had a couple of guys that tested positive. They haven't had in 2 rounds of testing 300 plus players. Nobody's, and that's a strong testament to either good policies or good discipline by players. But I think when I've had this conversation, maybe with you all and a couple other people, I know Roy and I talked about. You can't pick up 65 players and put them and move them. How do you do that? And what kind of bubble you gonna have for a football team? That's a lot of people. You got 65. Well, you got 53 players, and you got about 20 coaches. And then you got support staff. So you're traveling with 75, sometimes 75 people, and that's a lot of bodies to try to account for. Medical staff, and all that kind of stuff. So it's difficult. I do think you help by limiting travel. So if you got to bring all those teams in or let them play by region, that might help reduce that. But that's based on look. Take for instance Florida. What you got? What, 3 teams in Florida? And Florida's off the chart, spanking wise. Do you want to move them? Or who wants to go play them? Because I know the baseball team ran into that problem. Nobody wanted to go to Florida because of the concern there. So the protocol is what a lot of players. You got about 20 some players who decided not to play football this year, and they're citing the reason for not playing was because of protocol. They wanted to see a better protocol and procedures of taking, them being safe. So um, I, it's undetermined at this time. I know I'm attached a little bit attached to the Tennessee Titans, and they started their training camp. They were going through that with all their generation of policies and with the anticipation of playing to no fans. That's what I'm hearing from them right now. They're anticipating playing. They're preparing to play with no fans in the stadium. So we'll see how that works out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, like I said, it's going to be
Well,
challenging to see what's going to
here's
happen.
one other thing to throw in the mix now. There's one
Okay.
other thing, the same thing that happened to basketball. Football got television contracts. They got to find some way to satisfy because they don't want to get that money back. That's a lot of money to give back. I mean, nobody wants to. Anytime you sign a contract, you want to do your best to fulfill that contract because you don't want to give that money back. So here's a situation where they got millions of dollars that's got to be accounted for, and those networks have already set their, they got their travel schedule set. They got the team set and moving. All of a sudden, now all that stuff's going to come to a halt, and all that money they put out. So I'm sure that's what everybody's talking about. But
Here he
again, I think
comes. Here he comes. You want to come in and say hi, man?
I
Okay,
think
come
it's
on. You say
relatively
hi.
safe.
Hi.
Can you see this? Say
Hello
hi.
there, young man.
Everybody
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
say hi.
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 You on
We've
Papa
been waiting
show?
on you.
We knew he was coming. We knew you was coming, man. Papa told me you was coming. What you gonna do? You wanna go back out? All right, I'll see you later, okay? What did it say? You gonna come back and see me later? Okay, close the door.
Okay.
I'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay. I
All
told you he
right.
was coming.
And you can show he got ownership. He don't knock. He just open the door and come right on in.
No, that's what
It's
you're
my
doing. That's my house.
my house. I got to knock. You got to knock, but I don't
Right.
have to knock.
You got a knock, right? You better know the secret knock.
You better know the code.
And I was gonna do it on the porch, but Charles said it was too dark. So, and then remember when we did the thing, the promo, I was too dark. So if I cut the light on, the mosquitoes would get me.
Kids gonna come get you, boy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he might have locked me out earlier. He locked me out though.
Yeah.
So that's my clue. I got to go. We got to go.
Did you see where Jim just sent this thing saying that a two-time NBA champion was arrested on multiple charges?
I saw that. I didn't have the chance to take a look at it, but I saw the headline. Who
That
was that?
it's Vernon Maxwell from
I mean,
Houston.
what you think? Any other? I mean, when you say that name, it's not like it's like, oh my God, Vernon Maxwell. No, I mean,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not a
VM.
super surprise. Yeah,
No, VM's a wild boy. You know what I mean?
yeah. Obviously, it got out of control.
Right.
The I was kind of reading it a little bit. I think the cop stopped him. I think he was with his wife and his son, and he smelled a little marijuana.
Mhm. Which is
And
kind of
he
easy to
said,
smell.
and he said his eyes looked a little glassy and watery.
But what's funny that you say that. I'm glad you brought that marijuana thing up. In the
Okay,
new collective bargaining agreement for the NFL,
Mhm.
what's crazy is that they agreed to not have any more suspensions of players who smoke marijuana. Um,
really?
they couldn't be tested anymore for marijuana because most of the states, a lot of states are legalizing marijuana.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so to me, that's a little bit crazy because we know there's going to be guys that pull up in the parking lot and blaze one before they come inside the locker room,
Mhm.
right? Because it
Right.
no longer it's just like alcohol, so you may throw some gum in your mouth when you're drinking in the car because that's what gets you prepared to play. But I think it's going to really be out of control to a degree, and I don't know how. I guess it could have been a way that the Players Association worked on that, but I don't think that you should say that players cannot actually be fined or punished now for marijuana use because they're going to be blazing all the way until they get them into the parking lot. Really?
Mhm. And
Yeah.
that does not mirror you and I in society being able to do that on our jobs, regardless of what the state may say. That there
Right.
may be legal, like right here, there's not too far from where down the street, my neighborhood, and one of these little shopping centers is one of those legalized marijuana shops.
Hmm.
You going in there and you're doing that. So that having being the fact that it's legal and I do that and go to work, they're not going to excuse me because it's legal. They're going to say, well, it might be legal, but it's not legal here. So I'm subject to whatever their policies call for, and I think that should be similar to what the NFL is looking at because they stopped their ban on certain drugs too. That they had certain drugs that now allow these guys to take for pain meds, and at least that's what they're saying. Stuff like that. So if you're not careful, it creates an out of control situation, and like Rory was stating, that somebody's going to abuse it. It's going to be abused,
Yeah. Yeah. No
and
doubt.
then
I mean,
that brings on injury, that brings on suspensions, and it hurts the team bottom line. You're losing players that you need to have on your squad in order to complete and be effective to play.
yeah. There's another thing. So y'all know my disclaimer. I'm a conspiracy theorist. But there's a show that I watch that these are these are hardcore theorists, conspiracy theorists, and they were talking about the college sports. They were talking about the COVID, and they said about certain situations, like the Marlins put out the announcement today that the players who tested positive, all nine, are fine and ready to play again, right? But they didn't say anything about treatment. They didn't say, what the side effects are, what happened, and so you look at a lot of these particular individuals, and they're saying, well, the younger you are, the quicker it is for you to come back and recover. But I mean, there's really no process. You're not explaining what the process is, right? So how do you know that just because I'm older, I may be as healthy as someone who is younger, right? Or someone
Mm-hmm.
who's young, who's overweight, or has many medical issues that could cause them to be susceptible to, um, you know, uh, quicker, development of this process, this COVID process within their body. So it's crazy how people are talking about it. But they brought that up, and they were talking about sports, and they were talking about what is going to be the deciding factor. And they said for America to continue to be the superpower of the world, America needs to show force in financial stability. And America needs to show force that their dollar is still the evaluating dollar, or the dollar, or the the currency that is evaluated or sort of has the most power in the world. And if they don't allow the things that draw the most value to it, then they are going to be looked upon as a very weak and unproductive country. And so, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there for some of my colleagues, my conspiracy theorist colleagues that put that out there. And I'm saying this football thing, and when you're talking about how much money in Alabama makes, Clemson makes, Auburn makes, all those football powerhouses, the Michigans, Ohio States, somebody, and then you see your boy, the color in the background, the orangutan, is saying that he tweeted that we must play. He's jumped on the tweet about we have to play tweet because he knows that statement is probably circulating amongst many other country leaders, and that if you don't produce money, then what happens is it weakens your ability to have adequate and strong enough people to defend your borders, right? So I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things they talk about. It's crazy, but it's sort of enlightening. Sometimes I have to go to that side sometimes to get my information, but I bring it back in a settled and sort of some of those guys are like like the people on Goose's show. Don't they just sit down and come up with stuff. So you got to understand who you get the source from. But I thought that was interesting that they brought that up. You know.
Be, Before we move on, this is what I was intending to do at the beginning of the show and also at the end of the show, is that we want to invite those to join us on Sunday for Brother Can We Talk. And that is something that we started 7 weeks ago. And so let's invite people to tune in and to join us Sunday at 7 p.m. for Brother Can We Talk. And just briefly, just give us a highlight real quick, Vince, Rory.
Well, this week our conversation will be, and we're having ladies for the last 2 weeks. We've had a lady, our Queen Sisters, on our panel to be a part of Brother Can We Talk, and we're going to have yet another week with the opportunity for them to be in to do some exchange of conversation and theories. And this week we're talking about the angry black woman: true, false, real, or imagined. This can be we've had some very provocative conversations, but some very good conversation, great exchanges of concepts, ideas, and maybe done a little healing at the same time. So we would awfully very much want you to join us this Sunday, every Sunday, at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Mountain Time, West Time out there in the Vegas and California area. That you would come with us, and as we enjoy this dialogue and change with each other ideas of that can help benefit us as the black male, the black family, the black female, and just the culture in general.
Yeah.
And
Speaking
and
of,
absolutely
yeah, yeah. Go
to
ahead, Rory.
just to add a little bit to what Coach was saying. Absolutely, we want people to come in and join. We want people to join. We want different generations to join. We especially want younger individuals and younger males who are seeking that rites of passage into manhood to come in and have some discussion so that we can also be that guidance and direction for you uh, of value that can give you an opportunity to be more prepared as you move through this journey of life. And like Coach said, we invite women in. But what we're going to do is also make sure and invite more women in to be a part of not of the panel, but to be a part of the audience. Because in many cases, we don't hear women. One of their biggest concerns is that men just don't talk. And so with this opportunity, you get opportunity to hear men talk, and you get hear intelligent men discuss some of the areas for which we know can build our communities, our relationships, and our unity amongst one another, without talking about the problems, because we know the problems. We're just trying to develop and provide solutions. So please join us like Coach said, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time on Zoom. And if you want the information to get in, send me an email at rorytedwards1@gmail.com, and we'll get you the information.
and and you can also watch it here on Facebook, right here, 7 o'clock Sunday. Real quick, Vince, did you see the other message that Jim sent about the Sanford police chief who forced Jackie Robinson to leave the game? Did you see that one?
Yes, I did, and that gave me great. There was when I was growing up, 'cause I grew up in that area, around that
Right,
area, DeLand, Sanford, or Orlando, Daytona, and to my surprise, there are many well-known celebrities that have come through that area. Because in Sanford, there was big baseball that was being
right.
played over there. Also, there was a bar there that had some of the top musicians, black musicians, that used to come through there and play. So a lot of history in there. While I found that interesting, but not necessarily surprising, because of that, but kind of talks to the times a little bit. But I
Yeah,
had not necessarily known that, but I'm not surprised by it.
yeah. Let me read it real fast, Vince, so people know what we're talking about. Jackie Robinson started the 1946 game. Hold on, I'm sorry. Jackie Robinson started the 1946 game at shortstop in Sanford before police chief Roy Williams entered the dugout and told him he had to leave or the game would be called off. Robinson later played his first full game in professional baseball in Daytona Beach. So that was in 1946, and of course later on that year he broke the color barrier. But evidently there's a park in Sanford that is named, and that looks like they're going to change the name. Um, it's they're going to they're trying to rename it from Roy G. William Park to Elliott Avenue Park. So that's what they're trying to do right now. And this, I think they were in the second inning. Yeah, the second inning when he came and told him, "Man, you got to get out of here because we don't let colored people play in with the white people here in Sanford."
And
Wow.
and 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 I might add, Sanford was at that time, and some still think to this day, but maybe not as much. Very segregated, very racist. Ku Klux Klan is for sure, and the number of people that I have known from that. In fact, I lived there for a short period of time. Later, a few years ago, it's rich in its sports, very rich in its sports, but also very rich in its cultural differences as well.
Wow,
Mm.
it's still and I'll ask you this, and we both, I mean, we all know the answer to this. Do you? Let's see if I can ask it right. If if we were to say this to, let's just say we had 50 millennials in the room, and I'm just asking, how do you think they would respond to what what I just read? I mean, do you think they would get it? It's kind of hard to say, right?
I think one of the biggest differences is when you do that is who are you talking to? If you're talking to sports people, I would think they might have a little better understanding of it. Also, age plays a difference in it as well. But if you're talking to computer geeks, that's not something that they probably can relate to very well, because that's not part of their bailiwick. But people in the sports arena, especially if you've been around it a while, and interestingly enough, that was 3 years before I was born. As a matter of fact, so to show you how far back we're talking about, I do think with the current narratives that are being discussed here, I think some of these millennials are starting to go back. and starting to research a little bit. I don't know how far back they're going, but they're starting to understand that what they're talking or what they're supporting right now didn't just start now. There's a deep, deep history, a long and painful history that brought this to this point, and this is why it's boiling over. I heard some millennials ask that question, why now? And what the response was, because it's reached the tipping point. It's just it's just the people just fed up. So I do think there's a 50-50 chance that you might get a reaction from them, especially if they're in the sports in the world.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's we were just I was just having a conversation recently because of some things that's been going on. Of course, where we are in our country right now, and Haki is a history buff, and so whether or not it's sports or history in general, Rory, you can appreciate that when we just talk about where we are and where we came from, and I think even to this day, I think people are still. I don't. I can't find the right words, but there's nothing new under the sun. This country has been established. There's been a lot of wrongdoing, but somehow people still seems to be in shock of the continuous what's been going on forever, and people are who they are in this country. One of the things you always hear for those who have come from other countries is one of the first things they say is they learn right away the bigotry and the hatred and the racism right off the bat once you step feet on soil in America. Doesn't mean that America's not a great place to live, but that's just part of just being here because there are great people here in this country. Well, with that, okay, let's get back to sports. How
Oh, you were looking for a response?
well,
I thought that was your doc. I thought that was your, your, that was your what's the name?
well, no,
I thought
no,
that.
no. It was my
Okay.
commentary. Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay,
Okay.
that's what I
Listen,
said. I believe.
listen. How have you guys been following the NBA? I mean, oh. What's going on with Phoenix? What's going on with Phoenix?
What you mean? Phoenix is undefeated. That's what's
Yeah,
going on with
Phoenix, huh?
them.
yes, yeah. I'm saying, what's
They're
going on
coming
with
Playing
back.
Phoenix?
basketball. They're
Right.
playing basketball. What's going on with the Pelicans? Oh, they're going home. And
They're
they
gonna
took
find a
one
way
boy
for
with
them to
him.
get in.
Yeah, they took one boy with him. He gone home. And the Lakers might want to start making some reservations also.
Right. They might be going fishing. That's sad. I'm a Laker. They looking. They have
They
to.
look terrible.
Based on this. Based on this, there's no way anybody has that conversation about LeBron being the GOAT. There's no way that you can open your mouth as a true sports fan. I mean, there's no way you can have, right. You're just like you're doing right now. You have to be totally quiet on that. There's no way because he has not even shown that he's the best player in the world anymore.
Mm,
He's not. So,
yeah.
I mean, and I'm a Laker
well,
dude. So,
well, I don't know. I, I don't know how you even begin to even have that I don't even know how you even have the conversation. Me personally, how you try to even compare him to Michael, to me that's just like a dumb, stupid conversation to have. But for who he is and how he's played the game and how the game is today, he's a good player, but he's just not.
uh,
He's yeah,
you back? Okay.
he's all
You
right.
back with me? Okay. You coming back to
Well, the,
be on the
the
show?
NBA has been trying to find something to hang its hat.
Say that again, Vince.
The NBA has been trying to find some place to hang its hat,
Uh
and they
huh.
so they choose somebody, and they put LeBron in, and they realize he's getting older now. So now they come up with Zion and stuff. And I mean, you got Booker playing good ball. You got a Giannis
Mhm.
playing good ball. PJ Warren has just exploded. You got some other guys that you could really hang your hat on that are playing the kind of ball that you want to inspire for the NBA future. That's my struggle with them is that they're not looking at they're promoting. I understand promoting the sport. I'm 100% behind that, but
You got to
you're
turn it
promoting
down.
old news. Why not AD? He's playing some of the best basketball out there. Now, one of the things too that has come about from the bubble, slightly shifting gears, is the offensive performances that you've seen. It's been some unbelievable shooting. And the question has been asked, what has happened? And I heard an explanation today that I kind of like, that kind of made sense to me, is that everybody can individually work on his shot. He can get out and shoot some basketball and kind of work on his free throw, work on his jump shot, or whatever that offensive move is. But defense is not something you can do by yourself. It's a team effort. It's a truly a team group. So I, it's one of those situations. The offense has progressed. Defense comes later. Offense has come out. Those guys are exploding right now, and defense is lagging behind. It's been interesting though. It's actually been some good ball that's been played, I think. Um,
Yeah, well, I, I, I think I said to you, Vince, that I wasn't surprised that me personally, I didn't. To me, as far as the level of competition, whenever you throw the ball up and guys start playing, you're just going to automatically compete because you've been doing that ever since you started playing. You know, you was competing hard and heavy when you was in the park, or you were competing hard and heavy. And it was your 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 brother or your neighbor next door when you was playing. So whenever you start playing, you start competing. That's just in you naturally. So as far as that is concerned, I never thought that would be an issue once the ball is thrown up. You just start playing. you know.
yeah, but the skill level is not there. Some of these guys are just it's just the team chemistry on the defensive side of the ball is more important than the chemistry on the offensive side of the ball because everybody can get shots up. I guarantee you, of the 300 some players, everybody got some shots up. How many people went out and worked on defense? Couldn't do it. Because defense is a
Right.
team sport. I mean, it's a team effort. So that's going to lag. Now, if he's a Patrick Beverly, that's an exception. I don't know how he gets it done, but he brings that competitive spirit to his defensive game. Everybody doesn't do that because he's a stopper by himself. But you've seen some offense explosions, and some of that's because of poor defense, inefficient defense, and some of it, these guys just hot, man. They have come to play and got in a great situation. Now let me say this because this is tough for me to say, and this is really difficult for me to say. Carmelo Anthony, uh, who I believe cannot play a lick, has looked very well. He I think he made the transition to being a veteran ball player, found a good system to be in and understand his role and has really maximized his effort. And I'm not a fan of his at all. But I've got to
Well,
admit he has really added a lot to the game. And I think it was more mental than anything else. It's just deciding this is where you are and he's got a good situation and he's taking advantage of it.
he had to grow up. you know.
Well, in essence, that's true. But you got some T.J. Warren shooting the lights out back to back nights. I mean, not one night, 51 night, 36 the other night, or something like that. Booker's playing well. Now you do have some injuries out there. Some Kawhi blew up tonight real good. Toronto. Without their head coach, they had an assistant coach. Andre Griffin took the team over tonight. They still played well. Doc was talking about his guys. They're playing reasonably well. It's turned out to be a better ball than I think a lot of people thought, and it's going to get real
Mhm.
good next year. I mean, next week when they get into the playoff situation, it's going to get really good because that's when those guys really start tightening that thing down. Billy Donovan, former University of Florida coach. I did not think he was going to have a whole lot of success when he went to the NBA. because of his style of coaching. Uh, Coach of the year. What he's done with that team now. I think I believe Billy Donovan has done one of the things I think good coaches do is he's surrounded himself with some good staff. Mo Cheeks on his staff, got a couple other guys, and they have really helped him. And they put together a heck of an effort out there right now. They're playing very well. In fact, Billy was on the hot seat a year or so ago. Now he's co-coach of the year. So those guys are playing. You know, he's got the right talent, the right group of guys, and he knows the game. And he's grown as an NBA player, a coach. Um,
Well, he did a great job while he was in Florida because he won the back-to-back
Back to back.
championships.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But now
but
Donnie Jones was one of his assistant coaches who's now at Stetson, who also was at UCF and then went on to Dayton. And when he was a scout for Clippers, and now he's over there. Grant Anthony Grant was assistant his. He was coaching up in Dayton. He did well. He had great staff. He did well, but it was that maturity level getting into the NBA, changing that game or I'm sorry, him adjusting to that game. And now he's got these guys playing what looked like sometimes collegiate ball, and with that level of enthusiasm. He's a good.
yeah,
He has made a heck of a transition in my mind. In my mind, maybe I underestimated him, but he definitely has made a great transition.
yeah. Have you guys been following
Hmm.
golf at all? What's anything that's been going on in golf? Have you guys been following golf?
I honestly have not.
Mm.
I know Tiger was playing well. Was it last weekend? And I don't forgot what
No,
happened
no,
after I
Tiger.
missed.
Tiger crashed and burned though. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
yeah.
he
Yeah.
So I
started
mean,
off.
he started off pretty well, but then he shot over par on the second day, and then the third day, I think shot two or three over par. I don't know what happened on the
Mm,
fourth day, but when people watch golf, I think to a degree, honestly, they watch golf for Tiger.
yeah,
Really, there's nobody else who draws people to golf like Tiger does. And I
yeah,
think
that's
there's
true.
there's there's two facets of watchers. There's those that want to see him do very well, and there's those that want to see him crash and burn.
Crash
So
burn. Yeah,
but the sad thing is that he's brought uh, 5, 10 times the money that those golfers would ever make if he wasn't a
hmm
part of the sport. So that's the crazy thing. But I
and a
watched it
couple of
and
those
I
guys.
saw his first shot.
Yeah, a couple of those guys have actually gone out and said that they appreciate Tiger. In fact, anytime he's in the field, it just changes the field, whether he wins it or
Yeah,
not. Just to mere fact, they're gonna get a larger crowd. People gonna want to pay, and the purses go up when Tiger's involved,
yeah,
whether he wins or not. So a couple of those guys were saying how much they appreciate. Now, one guy said he appreciate Tiger letting him win, because Tiger didn't have a
Hmm.
good day that day. He said, I appreciate
Right,
Tiger. He said he would let him win because they expect to lose. They really do.
right.
They don't expect.
And they're talking about doing the Masters this year without fans. So,
Mm,
and I mean, if you ever play golf, I play at it. I say, but the thing is that uh, I guess it's like any sport to a degree. The fans sort of give you that energy.
mhm.
You walking, when you're in a major tour, you have to walk. But when you out there on the leisure, you drive it. So
Yeah,
when you're walking, there's 18 holes, and that's 7,200 sometimes. Uh, 7,200. I don't know. I forgot 7,200. Whatever the course may be, or it depends on the size of the course. And those courses may be larger because of the longer par fives and things of that nature. But walking that with just you and your caddies could be lonely, and you want to look at people to motivate you.
right.
So you just got to be really mentally strong and ready to do what you have to do.
And that's interesting that you say that, Rory, because part of the conversation that they're going jumping back to the NBA and with no fans and seeing how that might assist the offensive side of the ball. There's no pressure for you other than to take the open shot. There's no crowd reaction to your bad shot and miss shot, or the pressure of having to make the
Right.
shot. You're in the rotation of it and you shoot the ball. I've been in the arena when you make a bad shot, the whole arena erupts. You miss a
Correct.
shot or something like that. So while that works both positively and encouraging you, it can do a lot to deflate you as well. So now it's zero. And
Absolutely.
another thing too, they were also indicating, which kind of speaks to this whole idea, is these guys aren't traveling anywhere. They play the game, they go back to their room, so they're getting up more shots, they're getting more
Hmm.
rest. They're not doing a whole lot. I mean, although that bubble is huge, they're playing a little golf and doing all the other things, but they're not deteriorating their bodies
Yeah.
that much because they're on a strict policy and time frame. So these guys are one of the things Doc Rivers said, and he kind of looked at it. He said he didn't realize what the bubble has done for him is he's eating his brains out. And he looked a
See.
little pudgy today. I want to tell Doc looked like
Okay.
he might want to get to the gym.
See.
He got nothing else to do. He's just sitting there.
Right.
So it's tough. It's really tough.
Did you did you just see that on ESPN where it says Notre Dame would join the ACC for the 2020 season?
Yeah, yeah. We're competitive, man. Making that dollar and trying to get exposure. That's going to help recruiting too, because those kids want to play in a situation where you're playing some of the top athletes, top schools, so you get exposed and you have credentials you can use to say, "Hey, I played in the ACC," as opposed to having played someplace else. So it makes sense. It's a dollar revenue generator for the school as well.
Well, is
Sure.
interesting.
Harbaugh might trench.
Say that
Hmm.
again, Roy.
I'm saying Harbaugh from Michigan. He might go start
Yeah,
his own league. He crazy like on his own conference.
Yeah, with his khaki pants.
Well, yeah, whatever. He gonna be out there. He wants to play.
yeah, he does. Yeah, no matter what.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, well,
Big 12 said they plan to play. They plan to proceed with football in the fall.
Mm.
So I think it's going. A lot has to do with where we are with the coronavirus situation around the country. That's going to support. I tell you what, if you look around this thing, high school sports like they're in Florida. The governor has mandated that they go ahead and play without what appears to
Mm.
be any. It's me saying no consideration for health, especially if you look at Florida overall. That you and
Hmm.
he but mandate and will not give a mass mandate for the state, but yet he's mandating that they play ball out there. So
Wow.
it makes you wonder. I mean, I, again, question in my mind. I mean, but and you're putting those kids at risk. But But I also had said if you put your protocols in place and the kids will follow that, you got a good shot at playing. If you or if you're taking temperatures, trying the best you can to monitor these kids, and that's a challenge. I'm looking at what we're doing right now in school. The majority of the school is off campus. They're all and I work with special needs kids, so we're on campus. We got the entire campus to ourselves. I mean, we walk in the hallways, there's nobody there but us, and we got teachers on campus, but they're basically doing remote classing. So is that benefiting some of the students? Maybe so, but like the football team right now is at 5:30 in the morning, they're on the field and they're getting in there practicing because in the afternoon the heat index is so high. The last couple of days they couldn't practice. JV is out there 4:30, late afternoon and stuff like that. So they're making the accommodation. They're trying to stay prepared to play. And I know on the basketball side, we're looking at conditioning and just preparing. Like things are normal. Some have said they don't think football will get through the whole season. I just want them to play. If I enjoy watching them play, we got a good team. But I also selfishly realize if they can get on the field, it's going to open the door for basketball and other sports. Right now, wrestling's on hold because that is a true one-on-one, body-to-body type sport, even more so than football
Hmm.
because it's here. They won't let them do anything. Condition maybe, but that's about it.
Wow.
yeah. Well, Again, this is Youth Central Sports, where we come to you every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time via the hills and the mountains of Tennessee and through the valleys as we travel through, headed to Vegas for the elder Rory T. Edwards, but he's on the East Coast right now, somewhere where there's some bugs and mosquitoes. Because hey, I can attest to that because when I was there in North Carolina, man, the whole time that my uncle, that I've been talking to him for some years, when he built the house there, he put a pond back there in the back where
Mm-mm.
he stocked it with some fish and da da da. So for a long period of time, I was like, man, I want to come see this pond. I want to come see this pond, right? So last month when I went there, I looked and I couldn't see the pond because it's back in the woods and there's trees. So I'm trying to figure out like where's this pond. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go see the pond. I couldn't get halfway to the pond because the bugs and mosquitoes chased me back into the house.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I couldn't. I kind of like took like maybe 20 steps, and I retreated because the bugs and everything else was killing me. And then they say, "Yeah, man, the bugs are crazy out here." So I understand when you were saying how you need to turn the light off.
Absolutely. They just attract.
Yeah,
And,
they
and
come
then
from
they
nowhere.
know and then they know I ain't I'm new I'm like new booty on the block, you know what I mean? They like, oh, he ain't been bitten years. We gotta get on him.
Yeah, we got to give him something to take back home.
Right. They might try to send me back with that West Nile or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, before we get out of here, it's almost 12 o'clock. Let's invite the people again so we can have them join us on Sunday at 7 p.m. for Brother Can We Talk. Again, we would like to let you know about this is coming up. What is this? Our 8th week coming up now? This coming Sunday be our 8th week?
I think it's eighth.
Wow, man, time.
I
Whoa.
think it's eighth. Seventh or eighth. I think it's the eighth.
That that means that it's been 2 months.
Has it been 2 months? It certainly seems like it has. I know well, yeah, we've had a couple of good weeks there before the ladies came. So this is the third week of the ladies, and we had so that's three. We had three other. That's about 6, 7 weeks
Yeah.
since our first one. So
So
Yeah, when we
yeah.
started the 19th of what's this month? May? No. June?
no, June,
Yeah.
Because I thought we started the day after the day after.
the
No, what
week
was it?
after
We started the week that we did the
Juice
when we
Plus.
did the 17th. Yeah, we did
Yeah,
this Juice Plus thing on the 17th. We started that
right.
19th, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
was 19th of
June.
June,
Wasn't it
July,
June?
August, September,
July.
June. Yeah,
Yeah,
July. So we started before then. Then we started 2 weeks before
right.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we started the second week of July.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's 6, 7 weeks. It's been
Yeah.
good. Been a
All right.
good exchange, and we would invite you to come join us here. Great conversation. I know there's been a misnomer that men don't talk. Well, we're dispelling that every Sunday evening on Brother Can We Talk. There's some guys doing some conversation, but some interesting conversation with the kings and queens having a conversation about what is life really like and how we can better that and move forward and improve our young men and give support to our men today, build new mentors, and really help push it forward. Again, this week's topic, which I think is going to be very interesting, is dealing with the I won't call it a misnomer, but the theory The angry black woman. Is it real?
Ooh.
Is it imagined? Is it true? Or is it false? Please join us, and so that we can have that conversation. Love to have you come and share with us. You might just, if you don't want to contribute, you might want to listen. This could be interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that's going to be a good one right there.
But we had a good one last week.
Mhm.
It warmed up really hot. It got kind of hot there for a minute, which I thought was great. And then that's what we're anticipating again in the it could be interesting.
Also, Rory, I did talk with one of the young ladies, and she want to post a question next week, which would probably, I guess, want to be answered the following week. So I think it'll be a good topic to talk about because she says she started to ask the question and then she said no, she thought that she would wait. So she says she want to come back and join us this coming Sunday because she has a question that she wants to ask the men. So I said, oh, okay, well, come on.
Okay, well, tell her we have a protocol, and she can put it in the chat, and we could. Then it's good when you put that stuff in the chat because I'm able to pull it off of the chat and
Yeah.
then
Well,
comprise our questions.
yeah. Well, she said she want to ask it towards the end, so it'll give us something to, talk about for the following week. So she said she want to
Okay,
ask this question towards the end.
all right.
Yeah.
If she wants somebody's contact information, just tell her to come on out and put it in there. I don't know. I'm just messing with her. I don't know.
Yeah.
She might want to holler at somebody. She might need some snacks or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Rory, give out your
I
email
wasn't
address
gonna let
again.
that one go.
Give
Huh?
out your email address again.
Rory T Edwards one at gmail.com.
That's the
Rory
number
T
one. I
Edwards
mean, the
one.
actual one.
Number
So,
one. The
yeah,
one. No, yeah,
the
Number one.
actual
no
one.
number one.
So, Rory T. Edwards 1 at Gmail. Roy T. Edwards
And
1 at Gmail. So, yeah.
Roy also is a snack vendor, so you can
Yes,
contact him
indeed.
if you
So
need snack.
if you want some snacks, we have the ability to provide whatever you like to nibble on in the middle of the night. Healthy and unhealthy. Healthy and
Well,
unhealthy.
hey, whatever it
Alrighty
takes.
then. All right.
Charles, let me get these guys off, man. They shut this. Yeah, then we go to Juice Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Charles, we'll see you later.
That's good
Okay. What
nutrition for the
happened now? What
body.
happened?
Great nutrition for the
Right.
body.
Huh?
Juice plus
Charles and saw
juice.
somebody. What happened? So who
Oh,
that? What happened?
I just happened to look down at one of your messages. It caught me off guard. Like, wait
Who,
a
me?
minute.
I sent the message. Okay.
I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. See, people are gonna think I'm the bad guy. I'm sending bad messages and
No, I just
snacks
happened to
and
like, wait a minute. Because it kind of blended in for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. What is that? Oh,
okay.
I like, oh, okay. All right. I've seen that before. Okay. Just
It,
Okay.
it
kept
is
talking.
late night now. You want to make sure everybody
Yeah.
understands
Right.
it is late night.
Right.
Anyway, this is
Wow.
Youth Central Sports, original Coach Carter, and Rory T. Edwards, and Charles Morse coming to you somewhere near Mickey Country, out of the Central Florida area. And we're here every Wednesday at 11 p.m. for Youth Central Sports, where we say sports is more than just a game. So, guys, you got anything before we close out? And I get to go and eat some picante sauce.
Hey, wash your
See you
hands.
Sunday.
Practice social distancing, face covering, and join us on Sunday for Brother Can We Talk.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Absolutely. I concur.
Well, this is something that I always say on the Journey 2020. Don't listen to them people out of DC. You better use some common sense. Like Vince said, wash your hands and keep your social distancing. Play some common sense. All right, everybody be safe and be blessed. Use some common sense. This is Youth Central Sports.